Good morning, commuters. How are you on this fabulous, wonderful, beautiful day? Oh, I noticed the audio was really peaking quite a bit, so I lowered the microphone lower. So we'll see. My goodness, it is bright. My shirt is very bright. If you wear a shirt that looks like a highlighter, you don't have to wear a vest. That I'm thinking out on the job site, you know what I'm saying? So, to pick up where we left off, I was in search for a beautiful companion. Where would I find such a companion, you may ask? Of course, the internet, where you find everything else. No. Also, I'm going to try to talk at a normal voice, but I get too excited. So, oh man, that sun's right in my eyes. Okay, great. Now I'm blind. This is the Blind Commuter Podcast. Oh, by the way, I'm in the Ford Escape. It's got 82,294 miles on it. No, still running strong. And so here we go. So I think I left off in search of my better half. And I was on all the dating sites because when I'm super intentional about stuff. So once I get something in my mind, I'm like, I must pursue this to the end. So I was on Tinder. I was on Bumble. I was on the Christian dating site. I was like, it'd be nice to find me a nice godly woman, a real one that really stands out from the crowd, you know? That's what my mom always said. You find yourself a nice Christian lady. And anyway, so I even, so like I said, I was on all the dating apps and I'd pay money for it because I realized early on, especially on like Tinder and Bumble, if you want to keep swiping, you got to pay extra money. So I would be swiping on Tinder and you would use up all your swipes. And then you'd have to pay extra. So I said, okay, sounds good to me. Keep swiping. But I was very persistent. And what year was this? Oh my gosh. Must have been 2017. Like the summer of 2017 is when I started doing the dating apps. Because really, I mean, I was, 33 years old, 32, 33 years old. And I just, what's that noise? Oh my gosh. And I was getting old, man, you know? There was a time in my life where I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever settle down, you know? But anyway, so yeah, 2017, like the summer of 2017, started messing around with all the dating apps, and my strategy going in was just be real and don't play any games. Because, if I was 18 years old and they had these dating apps, it'd be a little bit different. But when you're over 30, you don't really have time to be playing games or anything. So I was just really forthright in my profile. I was just laid it all out there. I'm like, here I am. Take it or leave it, sister, you know? So I had a couple dates. So my thing was, try to get that microphone going. It's like, my strategy was, well, I'm not going to buy you a meal, right? We'll go out and get some ice cream, or we'll go out and get a smoothie. That was my strategy. Because, I don't even know you. It's our first time meeting. I'm not going to buy you a meal, right? So a couple of dates, and actually my first date ever with this woman, it was something. She was a divorcee, although I didn't find that out until I met her. So she lied on her profile. She was like 35, 36 years old. She was divorced, and I should have known something was up when all her pictures on her profile Well, it looked like they'd been taken from a skyscraper, like way up here. Hey, look, I don't have a double chin. Look at me. I look pretty good. Sons of guns. But, so I met up with her. We had a smoothie. And we both kind of knew this really wasn't going to work out. So she was crazy. Like, she told me she was divorced and this and that. And she started talking politics and how she was all for Hillary. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm like, well, I'm in the union, you know. And she's like, oh, unions are great. I'm like, yeah, they're all right. I'm like, you know. So we didn't argue, but you could tell we did not see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. And so we kind of figured it wasn't working out. So then we're sitting there having a smoothie, and she begins to tell me my strengths, my weaknesses, and what she's like, oh, you're kind of funny. You should play that up more. I'm like, what is this? Like, you're giving me dating advice. You're the one that's been divorced, and you look like a truck ran over you. Like, what? Like, when I'm looking at you eye to eye level here, I'm like, you gotta get rid of some of those chins, lady. Now, at the time, I had a couple, 3, 4 chins myself, so I guess I didn't have any room to say anything. But so that did not deter me. At first, I was like, oh my gosh, is this how the dating scene is when you're over 30? I'm like, this Tinder thing. I'm like, what is this, you know? But it didn't deter me. I persevered. I kept swiping. Some days I'd be working in the truck. I just keep swiping, see if something would pop up. I wasn't even looking. And you got to watch out for the bots, though, on those things. But like I said, I was just real open and up front, and somebody would message, and I'd be like, hey, how's it going? Be like, you know, you want to meet up? Go get you a smoothie or something? You always want to meet in a public place. You always want to meet in a public place in case the woman's crazy. You don't want to get murdered, okay? So always meet in a public place. So I usually take girls to like the mall, like the food court in a mall. Usually would work out the best. Anyway, so then I swiped right. When you swipe right is when you like someone, right? I think so. Yeah, I swiped right. And this girl named Samantha Thompson said, you've been matched. And this was on Bumble. Now, Bumble and Tinder are very similar, but the difference is that Bumble, if there's a match, the girl has to say something first, which doesn't really help the situation because usually they're just like, hey, or hello, and then the guy still has to come up with something smart and clever to say, right? So it kind of negates the purpose. But you know, us guys, we got a tough go at it. You know, we always got to be the smart and clever ones. The girl just has to sit there and look pretty. You know, travesty, I tell you. So I matched with Samantha, and we kind of hit it off right away. You know, she said she's a nice Christian girl, and I said okay, and we texted a couple times, and I was like, well, let me get those digits, girl. Like, let me get those digits. Maybe I'll take you out for a nice smoothie or something. You like strawberry banana? That's right. So I ended up taking her to the food court for a smoothie, and we hit it off. Like, I was surprised because she was just so like open and normal and like very honest and funny and very engaging. Eye contact. These are things that you look for, right? Eye contact, being engaging, being funny. She's very witty. You know, there wasn't really any awkward silence. We were like actually curious about each other and our lives and this, that, and the other thing. And she was young. She was 26 at the time. She's like, we're like 7 or 8 years apart. But yeah, she was young, but we were about the same level of maturity. And so yeah, we hit it off. And what's funny is, so it was I had to work that day. It was a weekday, and we met up at the food court for a smoothie, and this was right around dinner time, and I didn't know till later. Hope that sun thing isn't doing its weird thing. And I didn't know till later that she was actually starving, and immediately after we had our smoothie, she left and she went to Taco Bell. She had to go to Taco Bell to get some food because she was starving. She was hungry. But I didn't know. I mean, the agreement was we'd get the smoothie and that's it. No more food consumption during this date unless she's paying for it. That's a whole nother thing. But so we hit it off, and the key, if things are going well, the key is, look at me giving relationship advice. I've had no experience with girlfriends, but the key is, if things are going well during the first meetup, during the first date, you want near the end of the date, you want to be setting up the next date. You don't want to leave that up to a phone call or a text message, right? You got to set that up right away in person for a couple reasons. First of all, it shows that you're interested. Second of all, it's a pressure tactic. It's a power move. So if you're asking them face to face, hey, do you want to meet up again? Do you want to do this again? They're more likely to say yes, right? So I was like, maybe a steak dinner's in our future. No, I don't know what I said. I was like, hey, I'd like to take you out to a nice dinner instead of just a smoothie, So she agreed, and she said she was kind of busy, so it wouldn't be until the next week. Because I think this was like a Monday or something, a Monday or a Tuesday. And she's like, well, I'm free on like Friday. It's like, oh, that was the longest week of my life. Just the anticipation, because I knew something was going on. I knew right away, there's something here, She's such a nice lady. And so sure enough, we texted back and forth throughout the week, and she showed interest in all this stuff. And then she actually trusted me enough to go pick her up for a date. So she gave me her address and everything. Rule 1, never give a stalker your address. Now, it was a good thing I'm not a stalker. I was just a guy looking for a companion. But and she lived far away, like 45 minutes away, right? So I'm Googling, I don't know what restaurants are nearby. I'm I don't want to have a drive 30 minutes. She lives kind of far away from everything. So I just Googled closest restaurant, and that's when I found Cracker Barrel. So our first official date was at a Cracker Barrel. Oh man, it's a wonder she ever kept going out with me. But yeah, we went to a Cracker Barrel and had a good time, had a fine time. It's nice to be able to pick her up and drop her off. You get that time in the car to talk and stuff. And, after that, we just hit it off. It was just really great. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is turning into something. And we didn't move too fast. And, we were both older and wiser, and we were smart about it. And so we one of our dates, we went dancing. We went salsa dancing at some place in the city in Rockford, not Chicago. But that was a lot of fun. That was one of those pivotal moments in our relationship that really set us off on a good trajectory, because that was just such a fun event. When you're going out to eat's one thing, but when you go to salsa dancing lessons and you're there and you're moving around and you're touching each other, and the sparks start flying and the chemistry starts mixing up, and it's a good it was a good date. Oh, this guy trying to he's in a Prius, please. So yeah, physically we didn't move too fast, but relationship-wise, we moved pretty fast. We were only engaged we were only dating for 8 or 9 months or something, until I I proposed to her. I could be wrong. It might have been like almost a year. But, and then I got married. So we met each other. We started dating in like September or October of 2017, right? So do the math here. Because I remember it all too well because we did a Halloween and that was like very fresh in our relationship. So it was September, October in 2017, and then we were married by June 23rd, 2018. Wait, is that right? Dang, I don't know. No way. June of 2018. There's no way we had just started dating. Oh my gosh. I got it all written down in a journal, crying out loud. I think we started dating 2016. September, October of 2016. Yeah, because it takes more than 6-7 months to prepare for a wedding. So yeah, I had my dates wrong. 2016, September 2016. Then we got engaged. We got engaged in Wisconsin Dells, like the next year or something later. Oh man, I don't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're married now. And we're just the happy newlyweds. And it's funny when we were first messaging each other, she was like, what's this Twitch thing? I'm like, yeah, I'm glad you asked. I'm Matt Malone and I stream iRacing. No, I'm like, well, I do some, I play video games online. I tried to explain it to her as best I could in a text message. And she's like, oh, I still don't understand, but good for you, or something, But, that was kind of funny, and I guess she watched my review video of the CSL Elite, the CSL Elite wheel and pedal set, and then we met for the first time. So she had watched my videos before we even met. So if she was willing to meet me even after seeing my videos, then I knew I had something. So the whole streaming thing and the content creation thing was always present, because I put that on my profile. I'm like, hey, this is my hobby. People have hobbies, right? This is my hobby. It might be weird and nerdy. It's still my hobby, right? So that was always something that was there, presence in mind of, hey, this is the thing I do on the side, blah, blah, blah. I also have a day job, blah, blah, blah. So it was never like, hey, come see my rig room, baby, and like a weird surprise later on, I was just upfront about everything. I think that's really important relationship advice, is just be upfront. Honesty is the best policy. You are who you are. Don't try to be anybody else. Just be who you are. Tell the truth. Lay everything out there. Put everything on the table, and take me or leave me. This is who I am. So that was my mentality towards it. And like I said, if I was 18, 19 years old, it might be a different story. I don't know what these crazy kids are doing on Tinder these days, but I was just in a situation where, I was getting old, man. I got to make something happen. I didn't want, a part of me thought, I'm like, okay, well, could be a situation where I'm gonna have to marry a girl with 2 kids, that's already had 2 kids from another husband or something, just fit right into a family. I wouldn't be opposed to that, right? Just like instant family kind of thing. I would have been okay with that, but no, Samantha's great. So she had never been married or anything. She had dated, but off and on, and just she's a teacher and just really busy, and bought a house, and she. How people's lives get. People just get really busy, and it's hard to meet new people, especially sometimes where you live and all that stuff. But anyway, we got married. It was a great wedding. It was like, we couldn't have asked for a better day. Like, there was a bunch of rain. It was an outside wedding, and there was a bunch of rain in the forecast. And the day of the wedding, the skies opened up, and there's a lot of logistics when it comes to weddings. And we were planning it out. You got the caterer, you got the MC, you got the DJ, you got all the family stuff and the flowers and just all the itinerary of what's going on with, you got the pastor, you got, all your groomsmen and bridesmaids and all the money that's flowing in and out people's pockets. Like, you got to pay everybody, and it's a little overwhelming, not to lie, but preparation is definitely your best offense against this. It's the more you prepare for something like that, the more you double check on stuff and write everything down, and okay, this is this, and this money is allocated to them, and at this time we're doing this, and just make sure you got it all planned out. And you're nervous, the nerves are up there anyway, and you just gotta, people are more than willing to like help you out. So you just gotta kind of lean on people in those situations and just trust people. I mean, like your best man helped with all the money. He had envelopes full of money. He'd pass them out, make sure everyone's paid, and the bridesmaids and the maid of honor helped out a lot. And there's just a lot of stuff that's going on. There's a lot of moving parts, but you just got to delegate stuff and just trust that those people are gonna do their thing to help you out. And really though, if we talked about it afterwards, and if we were to write down how we wanted the entire day to go, we couldn't have scripted it any better than how it went off. Like, really, like, there was no huge blunders, there was no like fiascos, there was no drama. The only thing, and it's true when people say this, is that the time absolutely flies by. Like, before you know it, the ceremony's over and you're done eating and you're done dancing and people are packing up and they're leaving. It's like, dang, it's like, so people told me that going in, so I tried to make a point during certain moments and certain times of the wedding day, just to kind of stop and just take it all in and just try to really, take the moment in and create good, solid memories. And I think I did pretty well at that, but it's just, the time gets away from you and you're having fun, you're seeing new people, it's a whole new experience. And it was just a beautiful day, a beautiful night with great people, great friends, great family, no drama, great food, good dancing, good music, just absolutely picturesque. We got some really good pictures. We had a great photographer, we had a videographer. It was really, really great. And to be honest, like, as far as a budget was concerned, weddings are very expensive, but I think that we did very well with budgeting, finding a good deal. We got a great deal on a photographer because it was a friend of Samantha's. We got a great deal on flowers because we went through her aunt. So we did pretty well when it comes to the money thing, and we didn't go into debt for the wedding. Everything was paid for, so that was good. And then we tried to do everything like traditionally. So the wedding was on a Saturday, so then Sunday is like brunch, with the family. My parents hosted a brunch, and then that next Monday morning, we got on a plane at like 5 a.m. and went to the Dominican Republic, went to Punta Cana for the honeymoon. And that's kind of what we really wanted to do everything right, as far as, you need to get away, go on a nice honeymoon, and really set everything off on the right foot. So yeah, Punta Cana was amazing. We had our own butler. It was an all-inclusive kind of thing. And we were there for like 12, 14 days or something. Like, we got a pretty good deal on, I booked it all from cheapcaribbean.com. It's a website you go to, and it's just one of those all-inclusive packages that you get. But that was a great time. Both of us, we didn't even have passports. And so we had to go get passports because we had never been out of country. And so that was our first time having a passport and going out of country. And it was a really good time, very relaxing. It was a lot of fun. We went on an excursion. We saw some monkeys. We did this, that, and the other thing. Spent a lot of time just on the beach, Our hotel was pretty close to the beach. You just walk a little ways and you're there. And the drinks are flowing. You just order whatever drinks you want. It's all free. It's all inclusive. The buffets, oh my gosh, I must have gained like 20 pounds in the 14 days that we were there. Like, no joke. It was so good because you just go to this huge buffet, and when you go to a buffet where all the food is, this buffet, like just where all the food was bigger than most restaurants that you go into. Plus there's all the seating for everybody. Dude, anything you want. Just the table, just the area, the buffet part that just had bread, was bigger than most buffets that you see in restaurants. I'm like, this is crazy. And then there's people there that'll cook you an omelet, cut you a nice piece of meat. Though it was insane. So we would hit that up like once a day. And then there was other restaurants that you could go to. You just get a reservation, but it was still all free. It was crazy. So I definitely recommend doing one of those all-inclusive honeymoons or whatever if you want to take a trip or anything, because you don't have to carry money with you. There's no money exchange. There's no thinking about, well, how much is this going to cost me? It's all included. You pay up front. That's it. You pay for the excursion. It's all inclusive. You just pay for the trip and that's it. And there's and all the workers, they're not begging you for tips because they know that you don't even have your wallet on you. So there's no begging for tips with all the locals that work there. And everything was on the up and up. It was a great time. And I got a snorkel. I got me a snorkel, and we went snorkeling. And then I used my snorkel just in the regular ocean off of our hotel, and that was fun. And it was good. And but yeah, oof, a lot of food, man. A lot of good food, a lot of drinking, and a lot of just sitting out in the sun. It was a really good time. Fond memories of that. We got a lot of pictures and videos from that, so that was it really set us off. And since then, we moved in. I moved into her house. I didn't move in until after we got married, so that was kind of a stressful situation where, like, okay, I got to be out of the apartment at this date, and then we're getting married, and then I moved in a lot of stuff beforehand, but not everything, and so it was a lot had to happen in a short amount of time. And then her parents helped out a lot when we were on honeymoon. We came home and they had helped clean the house and organize everything with all my clothes. And so huge shout out to my in-laws for really coming through strong, because when you leave on vacation, it's common knowledge to make sure you clean your house before you leave on vacation, because when you come home, you don't want to come home to a dirty house. And we didn't, we did the best we could before we left on honeymoon, but when the house was kind of a mess, with just all the stuff from the wedding and all of my stuff that was newly moved in. And so they helped out a lot there. And they even had like a big sign in the front, like, "Welcome home, Mr. and Mrs. Malone," and all this stuff. We're like, so it was really nice to come home to that. So now we're living together and we're newlyweds, and there's definitely some adjustments. We had taken premarital counseling through our church, and so that really helped out a lot for sure. There's a lot of hey, you've never lived together, you've never been married, now you're living together, and now you're married. There's delegation of chores. There's a lot of stuff you don't think about that causes issues. So as much as you can to think through that stuff and to talk through hey, how is a normal day or a normal week gonna play out with you guys living together in the same house for the first time? How is this gonna work? Yeah, it may be all fun and games in the beginning, but at a certain point you gotta load the dishwasher. At a certain point you gotta do the laundry. Who's gonna mow the lawn? Who's gonna clean up the house? Who's gonna vacuum? Who's gonna do this? Bathroom maintenance and just all that stuff that you fight about with your roommates in college or something. This is now, so a lot of that stuff we, as best as you can, to like talk it out and work through it and kind of be like, okay, this is what I'm thinking, because it all matters on how you grew up. You know, maybe you grew up in a household where your mom and dad didn't have you do any chores, or maybe you had a nanny or something. So it all depends on how you grew up and how you look at those kind of things. And that little stuff, like loading the dishwasher, like that can start a fight, you know? Like it has before. Like, I'm not saying we don't fight, but I'm just saying, like, you got to try to negate some of that stuff right off the bat. So that premarital counseling was definitely paid dividends later on for us, and it still does, you know? I mean, there's still occasions where we're like, all right, let's talk about this. What the hell's going on, you know? Mostly it's my fault. Like, hey, like my job is to do the kitchen. I don't mind doing the kitchen, you know, cleaning up all the dishes, loading the dishwasher, wiping down everything, making sure the stove doesn't have, like, you know, half a burger sitting there, you know, burnt underneath the burner, you know? So, and that's fine. Laundry, we still go back and forth. Laundry sucks. We both hate laundry, but it's like, once it piles up enough, somebody's going to do it, you know? But, so yeah, and, you know, so I think we tried to do everything right, you know, as best as we could, and I think it definitely helped us. There's always like a shock to the system when you're like, okay, we're married, we're back from the honeymoon, things have calmed down a little bit, we're living together, you know, I got this much longer commute, you know, I'm working a lot of hours, this, that, and the other thing, trying to balance that with the stream, and so you always get your little battles, you know, but as long as you don't want to have like a fight turn into something that's going to be like damaging, you want to use it kind of like as a springboard to educate both of yourselves and to try to work towards a better resolution for next time. Be like, okay, when this situation happens again, how are we gonna better handle it, you know, that kind of thing. So I mean, not to say that we always do that. We're not a perfect married couple. We don't have everything figured out, obviously. It hasn't even been a year, and I think a lot of this is still in our honeymoon years where, like, you know, things slide. You know, you talk to me in 20 years, we'll see how it goes. But I think just having the tools at our disposal to use to work things out and to you know, not getting like crazy fights or anything, but we've had our moments for sure. But no, mostly it's like 90% of the time I'm just living with my best friend, and it's a lot of fun. Samantha's great, and she even does some of the racing thing too, which is like, it blows my mind that, you know, and part of it is that she just wants to be interested in what I'm interested in, so we can spend time together and have something in common, which I understand. But you know, she's a very competitive person to begin with, so she does like it. But wow, okay, 33 minutes already. So I need this to be the last life story podcast. So up until we're married, I'm doing the streaming thing. So now I'm like a homeowner. I had been a homeowner before in that condo, but I didn't have to do any yard work. I didn't have to do any snow plowing, none of that. But now I'm like a real homeowner, right? And I've been put into this house, and so I'm learning a bunch of stuff. I'm not a very like handyman. I'm not much of a handyman, right? But I can mow a lawn. You know, I've been mowing lawns. I used to mow lawns for, when I was a little kid, mow lawns for people around the subdivision for like $20. So I can definitely mow a lawn and trim and all that stuff. And we've done some stuff in the yard. We need to get some trees in the yard because our backyard is like an empty canvas. There's really nothing there. But yeah, so being a homeowner, it's not easy. But I'm learning, and I really do want to, like, if there's a project that comes up, I don't want to just hire someone. Samantha's quick to just be like, well, let's just hire someone to do it. I'm like, well, can I at least look at it and like see if I could try to do it? Like, could I at least look at some YouTube videos and like some tutorials and see if I could take a stab at it before we call someone? But like stuff like the sump pump, we've messed around with that damn sump pump. We get a lot of water in our basement, and so we did finally have to hire someone to come in and put in a whole new sump pump system. And the work that they did and the amount of time that they did it, totally worth it. 100% worth it. The peace of mind alone is worth it. I actually have a YouTube video on my channel about the sump pump. So if you're interested more in that, you can check it out. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much my life story. It's been a crazy life, and you know, there's a lot of things that I wish I would have done different, 100%. But if I didn't do certain things, I wouldn't be where I am today, I guess. So you got to take the good with the bad. There's really no going back in life. You just gotta look forward and persevere and learn from your mistakes. And sometimes things happen to you not only to help your future, but to help other people's future if they will take your advice. And the older you get, supposedly the wiser you get. And if you can pass on life lessons to other people that ask for your advice and they're better off for it, then it's all good, man. I mean, not everyone has to make the same mistakes in their life. Although some people, that's the only way they learn, is by making the same mistakes millions of other people have made throughout their life, and they just won't learn it until they screw up. And I'm a little stubborn and hard-headed that way. So a lot of times I fall on that side where, be like, let me fail at it, and then I'll learn. Be like, I know what you're saying, thanks for the advice, but I'm too hard-headed, and be like, okay, I failed. I should have listened to the old man, or I should have listened to that guy when he said this, or, you know, that's just the way that is. But yeah, life, if you're not learning something, you're not doing it right. And if you're not taking risks and failing, then you may not be doing it right either, you know? So no one has a perfect life, and no one is everyone makes mistakes. And just hopefully that all the mistakes that you make in your life, which I've had plenty, hopefully it just makes you a better human and builds your character and gives you more life experience, and that you can use not only to help your life but others. So yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you so much for watching the Malone's Commuter podcast. By the time you watch this, go to the previous video on my YouTube channel is the season opener, the GT3. It's the VRS sprint race at Laguna Seca. Season 3 2019 just started last night. And I raced the very first race at Laguna Seca. Decent race. Tanner McCullum was in the race. He's the newest member of Grip TV. Let me know how Tanner does in the race. I didn't see him later on, so I'm not sure what happened there, but check it out, guys. And don't forget to go to griptvteam.com to see the full list of streamers. We've been adding people, and the community is getting bigger and better, so make sure you check it out. Don't forget Instagram and Twitter. And if you haven't subscribed already to the YouTube, subscribe. I do this podcast every day. I make a commute, so it's a lot of content out there for you guys to watch. Hopefully the audio is good. I'm trying to speak a little bit quieter so it doesn't peak. If it keeps peaking and I can't get it right, I'll just maybe buy a better one. I'm not sure, because I want the audio quality to be pretty good. And I hope you guys enjoy. Have a great day, commuters. We'll see you tomorrow.